So this is how I get the big crane, or the big beams up into the attic. That's how I got those bad boys up here. So this is my overhead crane, and it's on an A-frame. That A-frame is braced on this big beam. It's tied to the rafters right there. And then it's got these big, huge structural screws on a 2x6 to support the weight. And it's got a 40-foot steel rope that goes all the way down there. That I emptied my garbage last night, and I cut a hole in the floor, 6 foot by 3 foot, and those joists are just hanging in air, except for that 2x4 that runs across. I've got those big structural screws in there as well that are holding it up. And then underneath this leg of the crane, I actually have those 3 supports that brace, and that's a shadow, but it braces all the way up to these 3 joists right there, goes all the way down to the floor. So that supports this leg of it. This giant beam supports the other leg, and you can see the angle puts most of the force on that leg. And then this joist right here is that what the beam rests on while it's getting scooted. So basically it rests right here and then gets scooted that way. So that joist is braced to the rafter right there, and then I have a couple layers of blocking that brace from flexing this way. I've got some layers of blocking that go through there, and then I have this sheet of plywood screwed all the way down so it doesn't flex that way. And then an additional reinforcement, I've got this big heavy angle bracket which is specifically designed for this on both sides of that joist. So that joist isn't going anywhere while it has something sitting on it. And then I've got my crane controls. I've got them on a really long wire so that I can either be down there on the ground and control the crane, or I can be up in the attic. But that's how I get the beams into the attic from down there. It's also how I get things like that insulation, that big huge thing of insulation. That weighed about 40 pounds, but it's also just really awkward. So I can get things like that up into the attic as well. I can't get these sheets through there because they're 4x8 sheets, and they're just such a weird, awkward size. There's nothing I can do to get those up here. So it's 4x8, and then 4x4, and then the wall is going to be right there. It's going to be a 6-foot wall. It's going to be right there where that level is. So there's going to be basically just dead, wasted space over here. And then the new beams over here, if you can see that pine, there's bracing under that pine. And then up there, there's also bracing. So the beam, the big beams, the long beams, they're just going to sit, once I get them up into the attic with the crane, they're just going to sit right underneath the crane. So I don't have to move them anywhere. And those are the long beams. They start there and they go all the way up under there. They're 32 feet long. But I've got to get all of this floor built first. Get this floor built first. All the way out to there. And then I'm going to build the beam right there. And then I'll build the floor level with the top of this beam all the way out to there. It's going to be a 6-foot wall over here also, but it'll stop right here where this where this rafter is. So it'll probably be like right here. So it'll be over that way, up against that rafter. So it'll be over that way 2.5 feet, and then there'll be a wall right there. And then like that side over there, the joists are actually going to extend out past the wall a little bit, because I had to get it where I put the beams. I had to clear all of this stuff and just stuff like that. I had to get them out of the way. So that's what's going on, and that's how I'm getting all this stuff to the attic.